I was just thinking about problems like this. Like this is the first time I was trying to broadcast, and obviously I just turned off my audio, so you just couldn't hear anything what I'm saying. So like what I was trying to say was like I had another channel, like it was just for testing purposes, and like I uploaded like couple videos there, like just to try to figure out the problems I will have and stuff, like I mean the possible general workflow things about like posting videos online. I was thinking about, like I'm normally a terrible person and haven't like keeping everything in the context. And actually it's even more difficult for me to keep everything in the context when I don't have a context. Like the problem is I don't actually have a context. I'm just trying to figure out, like I mean what I just like explained like a couple minutes back was like, like normally, like I was just like about to prepare myself a portfolio. So like, I mean, I ask myself, like when I'm just like preparing myself a portfolio, why will I just do something random instead of like doing some actual thing, like a concrete, like with something with a concrete like result, like a game, like a basic game. And then, I mean, instead of having like a theoretical portfolio, just like have like a game, like where I did some level design and stuff like that. And at the same time, like I can also, when I'm doing it anyway, I could just like post my process like on YouTube, like so you guys can see everything from scratch, how everything goes. I mean, like, just want to, I mean, try my luck, like, I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna work out or not, like, but I'm still thinking about, like, I mean, doesn't matter if it's gonna work or not, like, I'm thinking about, like, keeping posting everything, like I'm doing for the specific, like, game or whatever it is. Maybe it'll end up something as like an experience instead of a game, like I'm just going to like do my thing, like in case, I mean, just if some people comes and like subscribe to my channel and stuff, like it's just like something cool. If not, I mean, it's still okay, like I have like a visual diary of everything I did in the process, like that's what I'm trying to do. So like this is just some basic thing I spent some time like in the last couple of days to do. I mean, it's just like basically just some downloaded like quixel megascans assets and just try to bring everything together in the scene. Like I mean, most of the time I assume, like I will have some problems in the process. Like I will just encounter some problems I have to solve. Like I mean, the time I will normally just like focus home alone, like just to solve some basic problems and stuff. So you guys are all gonna see it too. So like it's just gonna be like a visual like diary for me. That's it. So this was just like a single concept art I tried. So like I'm just going to start with another map today from scratch, like just to try something new. So I don't know what you guys think about it. Like I was just trying to bring everything inside the scene together. Like some rocks and stuff. So like eventually we're gonna stay somewhere here. Like I mean maybe the emissive lighting here is just like way too high. Let's just lower it down a little instead of 2000. I was just playing with it. Like I didn't have a specific purpose. Like I mean you see the emissive light is like. Hitting the surface here, which is not actually much realistic, like I mean, so this is the problem with the Luma, like this, like the fifth version of Unreal Engine. I mean, I'm not even sure if that's true, like that's Unreal Engine 5, but like if it's actually the fifth version, because I can remember the Unreal Development Kit. It was UDK. It was like I think it was an open. And then they finally released Unreal Engine 4 in like 2013 or maybe 2014. I'm not that sure about. So this is the fifth version, and the biggest new things in the fifth version, like Unreal Engine 5 is just what's the name of it? So nanite is just like a geometry handling tool, or I'm not even sure if it's okay to call it tool. Like when you just go to here instead of lit mode, here you have the nanite visualization. Like you can just visualize it. Like here you see the triangles. I mean, the math is like unbelievable. Like this level of detail. Like it was a dream. I mean, a couple years back. Like it just basically just breaks it into clusters, and then like for every single instance, it does the same thing, like it takes every single instance here, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then just like breaks it into clusters, and then like all the clusters will be divided into triangles. But it just does it in the runtime, which is huge. Like I mean, previously you had to have like different kind of like LODs. Like most of the time you have to do it like manually if you want to get some good results. And then doing it manually, just like a specific, like single specific mesh, like you have to model it once with the highest level of detail, and then eventually lower the detail for the second version of it, and then another one, like the third one, like the fourth one, and then it just depends on like how big your game is, like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, we're totally free of it right now with the Unreal Engine 5. As far as I just tried the software, like it's been out since like it's not in production ready right now, not the production ready release, but still it's been out since like I think like 6 months right now, and it's doing a good job. Like it's I mean it's bug free. Like it's not terrible. I mean it's not the best. Like I mean every now and then you're gonna have some like small stuff, like small problems, small bugs, but it's as good as can be. So like it's not terrible. So okay, so let's just like go to another map. I just duplicated the map, like just to save my progress there with the map. So right now I'm thinking about like starting just like from scratch again, you know, not entirely from scratch though. So like I'm thinking about like I mean just keeping the basic plane and stuff like that. I mean just like I'm not even sure what I'm trying to do. I'm just like actually I was thinking about like keeping the light settings and stuff like that, and just like delete all the meshes and stuff, and then start with a pretty much like a new map. So like I will just type in like EVP, and then just like select them all. And then also this is another mesh, so like that's Iceland, and then just select them all too. Just trying to get like a basic scene, like I mean we're gonna go through the whole process together, like right now I'm thinking about, I mean the problem we're gonna have, like, or we might have, is just, like there are things, like we just better edit. I mean like I'm not even sure, like I said in the beginning, like if it's a good idea or not, just to live stream everything, but I mean why not, so like just, and I'm having a hard time like just keep talking and like doing things at the same time. Like so maybe I'm gonna see if it's a good idea, like in the process, like right now I have no idea about it. You guys can, I mean, like I'll be like total happy if some people joined and then ask like questions in the comments and stuff. Like like I'm total happy to have this thing as an interactive thing. I mean, that'll be super cool, like I will totally love it. So like, okay, so I'm almost there. This is just like some kind of a basic mesh I was trying to do in Unreal, in Blender, sorry for that. So like it's, I mean, like if you just decide to do some stuff and like, Blender 2 in the future, that might also be a possibility. Like you can also do stuff in Blender. So right now I'm just like starting with like going to quixel bridge just to select some like a new like materials, and like actually kind of a concept. Like I mean the best, like one of the coolest things in bridge, like is they have there here they have this collections, like they have this some pre-made scenes, like from different artists and stuff, and then they just get everything together inside a single collection, like you can just like go through here, like just check for something you like, anything. I mean, I might go for something like this actually, like this is real cool, like just get some. Yes, basically just materials, like it's just, yeah, okay, it's something else. I mean, it's cool, but like, I mean, I'm trying to do something more with the meshes and stuff. So let's just make it a little bit larger environment. Okay, maybe here. Okay, maybe something like this time, like I mean it could be like a total different like setting than we had in the past, like in the previous one, like I actually kinda like it, like we can just start with like downloading some basic things, I mean this one looks kinda cool. I have to sign in, I mean I hate it, like I mean this is probably one of the things they have to fix, like every single time you reopen the program, like you have to I don't know, for some reason you have to sign in again. This is something which just like totally irritated me, but it's fucking this. So like okay, so right now we have this let's call it like master material here. I'm just going to download it in the highest possible quality, like I mean they have this under the hood, they have this new thing called what was it? Virtual texture streaming, which is real cool. I mean, so you can you can just basically go for it. I mean, I'm just going to download some meshes and also some ground material, like because it's not always best to use like a material and then use a flat surface. I mean, you can of course 3D model that in Blender or some other 3D software and then eventually import it here, use the simple material. But the problem will be that like even though I mean most of the time you're gonna try your best to do it to make it look seamless, but still eventually I mean those seams are gonna be like visible. I mean like you can do a perfect job still. I mean, if you guys just like play like Cyberpunk, like it's unbelievable. The asphalt, like in Cyberpunk, like old materials, like I mean, the repetition is just unbelievable. It's all over the place, like I mean, every single texture is like copied like 1,000 times all across the scene, like kind of crazy. Sorry, I have to answer the phone real quick. Sorry, guys, my girlfriend is called. I mean, like there's something. I mean, there's no one watching, but anyway. Okay, so like I was just trying to download some like basic things here, like I mean, like which I think I can use in the concept design of the scene, like I mean, you might want to go for like some simple meshes, something like this, and then eventually have some different versions of it. That's real important, like if you just like keep like with a single one, eventually it will also start to repeat itself, and then it's gonna be terribly like visible, like everyone's just gonna see it, like I've said, like even in Cyberpunk 2077, like I mean, the scenes and the textures, it's unbelievable. If you guys didn't realize it, like you have to just go like open Cyberpunk again and just like check. I mean, look for it. Like that's terrible. You have to make sure it's all fine. Like I mean, your textures are clean and like not repeating themselves. Just as a as a suggestion, I mean, like, you guys can do, of course, whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. So, like, okay, so right now I'm going to, I mean, this is how the interface works. Like, I mean, you're inside Unreal Engine eventually. I mean, like, you're inside Unreal Engine. Here you have your context bar. When you click it, you see Quixel Bridge. And then once you click it, like, you're going to go to this window, like, it's going to pop up. And then you're going to go, like, do some stuff and then download them and stuff, and then eventually you go to local, and then in the local you're gonna see all your downloaded assets. They're all gonna be in the local folder. I mean the folder you choose here. Here you go to preferences, and then eventually here you have like you can select like a different disk or something. I mean you might wanna do it because the assets, like they're pretty easy to use with Nanite. But at the same time, they're huge. Like I mean, I might just go check like what's the size and stuff. Like I mean, like what I can say is like a normal version of like LOD level 0 meshes. Like I mean, if that's like 30 megabytes, it's gonna be like 300 or something like that. Like I mean, without Nanite, it would be impossible to use such detailed meshes. So like right now we see all of our downloaded assets here, and then with the button here, we can just directly just like import them into Unreal Engine. So like, I mean, if you're running low on the disk size or whatever, you can just like after importing them into your scene, like you can just go delete them from your local disk. I mean, right now I'm good, but that's also something at least you guys can be aware of. So, I mean, like there's someone. Okay, whatever. So, like, it'll take a while. And also, most of the time, you have to like click again and again just to make sure it's working. So, oh God, come on. My PC just froze. So. Something at least you guys can be aware of. So, I mean, I think this is gonna take some time. So. I don't know if I can talk about anything else. So like I said, like I repeat the same thing probably, but like I'm not that sure because in the beginning, like I was just trying to explain everything, like the context and what I'm trying to do and everything is just like eventually I realized my microphone was turned off. So what I do is like I decided I was supposed to do my portfolio, and then I mean like normally it was supposed to be some JPEGs and some interactive scenes, and then eventually I was thinking about like what I was going to do with it, like how to get everything together just to present what I'm doing and everything for the next job I'm applying to, and then suddenly I thought, like instead of doing something like total theoretical, like why wouldn't I just like do like an actual game, and then just like upload it to Steam, and then eventually I can just like post some videos and stuff from that game. And I mean, like after the point I thought about it, I asked myself again. I mean, if I'm doing something like this, like I can just at least like try to just like have like a visual diary of the whole process, like eventually just to post it like on YouTube, and then like I mean, if someday like if it becomes like a full game, like I can just go back and see my whole process, like what I did, how I did, why I did, and everything. It's just like basically, I mean, if some people subscribe to my channel, like it can be like a cherry on pie, but I mean that's not my actual purpose. I'm just like trying. So, I mean, that's why, like, I mean, I'm just doing what I'm doing, and then at the same time, I'm just like streaming that, if you guys like it, if you guys need it, like, you're welcome to have, like, I don't know, questions, and like, I mean, I will be totally happy if it becomes something like an interactive thing, like, if I have some subscribers, like, asking me questions and stuff, like, I'll be totally happy about it. But, I mean, if not, that's also fine, like, I mean, it's much easier for me, like, instead of just sitting home alone, like, working on something, I mean, just like, streaming to YouTube and just like talking, basically just talking to myself. But not, I mean, just feeling like, like someone may just join and then just like hear what I'm saying and stuff. I mean, just the possibility of it is just like giving me some kind of a motivation. So I'm just going to grab something to drink. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Okay, so here we import our first mesh. Okay, so it will need some. I mean, this is the first thing you will see. Like once you import a mesh, like you're gonna see that the mesh instance fields are building. That's something with the something about the nanite. When you right click and then go to nanite, like you have the two options: enable, disable. But we imported the mesh as nanite anyway, so like it's enabled by default, but you can also disable it. I mean, like the thing is, like whenever you can enable it, you have to enable it because like once it's enabled, like it just doesn't have any impact on your system. Like you can just like have almost like an infinite number of triangles. Like you can copy this mesh like I don't know, like billions of times inside the scene, and then you will just like you won't have a real like FPS drop or something like that. It's all just gonna work like magic, Like I mean, whenever you can enable it, disable it. I mean, there might be some times where you can't enable that, like times like if it's transparent, if it's animated. Like I mean, you can of course animate a mesh like this, but like I mean, if it has some like vertex animation and stuff like that. I think at the moment it's not working, but they're planning to have it in the full version. I mean, this is what I can remember. Like I'm not like just don't put my word for it, but like I mean, this is what I can remember. So like I think it was like that. All right. Right now, I'm just gonna shut up a little and just like try to do things. Yeah, I think there is a problem with the specific mesh here. It looks different than the one. Be important here. Ask myself, maybe it's a problem with the nanite and the meshes here because the meshes, I think they're. Yeah, let's just keep another. Come on, takes forever. Yeah, I think this is the problem. I mean, the albedo and the other textures and stuff, they just didn't compile, so that's why we couldn't see the actual mesh there. Oh, wow. I mean, like actual texture, not mesh. Sorry. Let's try it again. So, like this time it looks okay. Yeah, so this is what I was trying to say. So, like, I mean, right now you see it all looks decent with all the details and stuff. I think this is more like a. I mean, it was touted as a more like a distant match, like just to have something. I mean, just have the background a little bit cool, like just to make just populate some things in the background, so your scene just looks like dense. I mean, we can just get rid of this for a second. Just like at least okay, so we have a couple matches. I'm just waiting about, like, I mean, there's a soul difference. Okay, so we also have the surfaces, right? I mean, this is the one of the most important things, like just to make the scene a little bit like, I mean, I was dreaming of, like, I mean, once you change your plain material to the surface here, it's gonna look a little bit more like an actual like snowy atmosphere. So. And now right now we have to wait again, like I don't know how long. The here it's gonna look a little bit. Okay, so like I have my first question. This is real cool, like I mean, even though I know her, like still it makes me feel, I don't know, like I'm doing something actually, just answering people and stuff. So what are the softwares I'm using? So right now I'm basically using Unreal Engine as the title suggests, and also at the same time, like for some meshes, like custom meshes for the backgrounds and stuff, like maybe also for the foregrounds, which I'm planning to do in the future, like I mean, I'm going to use Blender, but that's not a huge difference, like I'm just, most of the time, I'm just going to talk about like actual like modeling workflows, not actual software. I mean, when it comes to modeling, like modeling is just something simple, like you can use Blender, you can use 3ds Max, you can use anything, and then eventually import your meshes into Unreal Engine. So it's not a huge problem, like, I mean, if you're using a different software, that's all fine. It's just, I mean, Blender is what I'm going to use for it. And then eventually for everything else, I think I'm going to be using Unreal Engine. And then I can also suggest you like a real cool plugin I just like came across the last months. It's called Alter Mesh, which is something similar to you guys. I mean, maybe there are some people know, like, I mean, I know the person in the comment section is aware of the software called Houdini, but maybe there are also other people like aware of the software. It's like a real cool procedural software where you can, like, I don't know, instead of like manually modeling things, like you can just like program it, programmatically do them, and then eventually import it into Unreal Engine, so you're not going to, like, I mean, spend on or losing time every single time you're going to do some small modifications. But I mean, on the newest like 2, 3 versions of Blender, they also have a real similar system to it. I mean, the system of Houdini, which is called geometry nodes, and then I mean, geometry nodes is basically just like, I mean, I'm not going to demonstrate it in full, but like geometry nodes is, we can just Google it, show some pictures, like it's just basically like procedurally doing some like repetitive like modeling works and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's real similar to Houdini, and they're just constantly improving it. So, like this alter mesh is just like a new piece of plugin I just encountered. Like I said, like it's just like allowing you to import this geometry nodes into Unreal Engine, which is super cool. But it just like at the moment it doesn't support Unreal Engine 5, so I'm using Unreal Engine 5, and that's the reason I'm probably not going to use it that much. But still, I mean, I thought that was a cool thing to talk about. So, like, we imported the material. I think the scale of the material is just a little bit out of proportion, so we can go to the. I mean, this is just like basically the default quixel material instance settings. Like I mean, whichever material you're gonna open, like you're always going to see the same like structure, same different like properties and stuff. So like I mean, when you go to the parent, you're gonna see like this just basically the default material what was the name of the company? Quixel did for Unreal Engine. And then it's just using some like basic things, and I don't know, like here there's this adjustment. I mean, like I'm not going to talk about it in detail right now. This is just like the basic material function, and then I mean all the small modifications you're going to do here in the instance is going to affect the parent. I mean, this is not the right way of saying it. Actually, the parent is just like exposing all the different like properties, and then you just can go to the instance and then like override the specific like properties. So that's actually what it is. So like right now we're only going to play with the tiling, like so it'll just be a little bit more like smaller, like I mean the scale is just like way out of proportion. So like 100 is just like way too high. You're suddenly going to see the repetition, like I mean you see it anyway. I mean, but I mean when you're not like real close, like you're not going to be like seeing all the small details. And what I'm actually thinking about doing next is just like to break this repetition. So like I mean you go to the 3D assets, like I mean I tried to download some like 3D assets which are just like basic like flat surfaces, like something like this, I mean not flat surfaces, it's just like a material which will just almost like perfectly blend with the landscape here, I think. Like I mean they did a real good job, folks at Blender and in Quixel. I mean they did all this like different like small material. I mean the materials, and then they always had the source models of them. Like I mean the source models at the time. Like at the time they just published all these materials. Like it was almost impossible to use them. Like the level of detail was just like crazy. I mean, you were just going to be able to, I don't know, like import them into like real, like I don't know, like software like Blender, and do some small modifications, and then like export them again just using your project and stuff. But right now, I mean, with the thanks to Nanite, like all those meshes they've been collecting since I don't know, like 5 years, 10 years now. They're all like super easy to import into Unreal Engine, except for this, like I don't know, the first 2-3 minutes which it imports. Like I mean it takes a huge time. It has to calculate all the clusters and everything. I mean once it's like imported into the scene for the first time, like you won't have it every time. That's something you have to know. I mean, you might think, like it's going to be crazy, like just to import this thing into your scene like every single time and just like waiting, I don't know, like 20 minutes for the mesh to import, which is not the case. I mean, you see right, like we import the first mesh, and right now we import the second one. It's just like working like magic, like it's just the first time. Because like I said, it has to do some calculations and stuff, so it's gonna take some time. You have to be patient for the first time, And then what you guys, I mean, like this is a mistake I'm doing like every single time. at my 9 to 5 job, like at home and I'm playing with things and stuff. So like this is a mistake I'm doing just constantly, like just like open the scene like this. I don't know, like pulling the tanks and stuff, and then eventually I have no idea about the proportion. Like I just go to my. I mean, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to import a cube. Like I suddenly realize that everything is just like way too out of proportion. Like I mean, like way too much. But right now, obviously, that wasn't the case. I mean, that was the case in the different direction because I felt like the scene was like much more bigger. I felt the stuff here was like I don't know, like a huge, almost a mountain or something like that. I mean, this was what I was thinking. So this is probably okay. Like I mean, we can scale it to something like this. So this is almost a human being. Like which kind of makes sense. Right? I think so. Okay, so I answered my first question. If she hears me, I don't know, like maybe she got bored and she went away, but still. Anyone out there? Let's check my. Okay, so I mean, it's always important to try to like keep the variation, like I mean, once you like, okay, so another thing, environment light mixer here, like I mean, the light, I mean, the scene is too bright right now. And it makes it kind of difficult to work with something like slow, like snow. We're not going to see all the details and stuff, and then eventually it's gonna break. I mean, right now, as soon as I lowered the intensity of the directional light, like you guys see, I mean, the color here just doesn't match with the color here. Like there are some different things we can do about it. Like we can just basically go to the material, just try to match it to the material here, or we can also go to I mean, so I'm gonna try different things. I mean, I'm just first going to try do it just a little bit closer to the material of the hill. I mean, even though I know it doesn't match perfectly, like you also have to see the seams and stuff like this, which is not really cool. But then the second thing I'm going to do is, wait a second, okay, what was I going to do? Okay, so we downloaded all this different like stuff, right? We also have stuff like this here. So like this here was the one I was thinking about when I was downloading the thing. I mean, this thing is magic, like I mean, this is pure magic, like it's just like possible thanks to um, Unreal Engine Nanite. Like you just basically, I mean, right now I'm asking myself a little if it's a cool idea to work with a scene with snow. I mean, with a snowy scene, still, I think it might work. Like you just bring these meshes together, like all the scenes you're gonna see. I mean, they will just blend, like this is crazy. I mean, this is probably how it works in the real life, like you just bring the pieces together and then suddenly it just makes sense, which is, I mean, crazy if you ask me, but it just works. And then eventually I'm thinking about like, important this material here, which I think, I mean, this mesh here, which I think is like super cool. Okay. Anyone out there in the comments? Hello. Here I see I have one person watching. Okay. Okay, so right now we have the mesh here. Let's just pull it into the scene. Like I said, like the first time you're going to pull it into your scene, it's gonna make this crazy, I don't know, like import process, which is gonna take like, I don't know, like every single time, every single material, like for the first time, it's gonna take like 2 minutes. Like that's why I think, like before starting with anything else, like mean, that could have been cool if I did the same thing, like before, just like starting with this video, just like downloading all these things here, and then just like pulling them into my scene, like without any purpose, so they will just like be converted into a nanite mesh. But I didn't do it. I mean, whatever. So. Or like, okay, it's been like it's been, this is crazy. It's only been 15 minutes since we started. So like I thought it'd been like, I don't know. Real life and no, it doesn't match perfectly, like you all have to see the scenes and stuff like this. It's really cool. But then, I'm checking every now and then, just like if it's working in the background with my YouTube stream, like because I don't have an experience in it, like I'm just trying to figure out if everything's fine or not. So. But I thought it'd been almost like half an hour or something. Like it's only been like this is crazy. It's only been no, that's not possible. It can't be 5 minutes, right? Because I don't have an experience in it, like I'm just trying to figure out if everything's fine or not. So, no, it can't be true. Here I see it's only been 5 minutes. Like wait. But right now, obviously, that wasn't the case. I mean, that was the case. You realize that everything is just like fake. Okay, so like we're just going to continue with the. Okay, what's this here? Okay, I wasn't aware it was this kind of a mesh. I thought it was kind of okay. So I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, right? I think it's kind of cool. I mean, the size just doesn't make any sense, but still. Oh, sorry, that was something else. I mean, you guys are gonna see, like, I mean, even though it doesn't look like it's gonna make sense, it does. Kind of does. So I'm going to import another mesh, so like, it's just it's the whole process, like super slow and like super boring, like I mean, I'm just trying to. I mean, the next time I know what I'm gonna do about it, so. I mean, the next. Okay, so I had a small error that said that the connection was disconnected into. I don't know what's wrong here. Oh God, come on. The problem is, like I mean, the other day when I was trying to create a scene, like I spent like so much time trying to post it online, get something cool. But for some reason, I mean, that's kind of crazy, like when I'm streaming that, like even though no one's watching, like I'm just basically alone, like I'm just talking to myself. And then I'm trying to create something cool, like a cool, like, concept and stuff. And then, like, I mean, it just doesn't work. And I stream it. And then eventually, I mean, last night, like I just had some free time. I just thought, all right, like I'm just, like I'm just gonna set like 10 minutes just to try to do something. And then eventually I just got something similar to what I was trying to get, which is crazy, like because like I mean I spent the whole time, like it didn't work, and then eventually it works when you don't expect it to work. So like it's all the time. It's just like basically, I mean, whenever I'm doing what they call it, I'm doing a live stream, like it just doesn't work. Maybe that's the problem with live stream. I mean, like, I mean, when you want to have something like this, you gotta have more, like, variety, like, I mean, if you go with, like, only two meshes, eventually everything's gonna look like everything was just, like, copied all over, which is, I mean, not wrong, but that's not what you want the people to think. So, yeah, okay, maybe that's this way it looks cooler, like just don't scale the tire and I'll just copy them. Something like that. Okay, maybe. I mean, that wasn't my intention when I first started to make the scene, like, but maybe I can go for a more unnatural scene, like, I mean, why will I mean, I don't have a defined task like getting like a natural scene, like no one told me to get something like that. Maybe just like instead of having like uh, so this is another problem you're gonna see a lot. Like I mean if you're novice, like I mean don't have much experience in like computer graphics and stuff, like when the sun comes from this direction, like the mesh I have here, it's not a two-sided mesh. Eventually the light will just like go through it, like I mean there are a couple different ways of solving this problem, like I mean one thing you might do is always like I mean like copying the mesh, just rotating that and then like placing it almost at the same like point where you had the first mesh. So eventually it will just block out the sun, but that's also I'm not that sure about. Yeah, let's just try to see how it's gonna look. It didn't look that good as I thought it was going to. So, I don't know. Okay, so this is what you always want to try to get. Like I mean, whenever you have like I mean, this is not. I think I mean, I thought like a scene with like a snowy scene was a cool idea, but probably it doesn't. So like I mean, not the best possible concept to get a cool atmosphere. So like I mean, just try to get something like this, like just to make sure that the of course, you may want to get instead of having something like this, like you may want to get like something like more dramatic, like maybe like this, and then like not instead of that copy it, like and then like scale it like crazy, like I mean just without any boundaries, like do whatever you gotta do, and then just make it look like like instead of I mean this I don't know if it was a cool idea. I mean, it was like I said, it was just a try, like it wasn't an actual like definite. And then it's going to be the first mountain we're gonna have, like of course we're gonna have like multiple of them, like not a single one, but we're gonna have one here, Because, like, I mean, we're not going to build the mountain on a full scale, like, we're going to copy it again and then eventually rotate it. No one's going to figure out that's the same mountain, like, it's from a different angle. So no one's going to realize that. So, like, as soon as you go back to the, yeah, okay, okay, what I was trying to, okay, probably this one's also not, like, I mean, they have to be, like, I don't know, this one has to be a little bit more far away, something like this, maybe. And then way to something like this. I mean, once you get something like this, you may want to make sure that the depth is like more dramatic. I'm like, I mean, this is where it gets real crazy, like, I mean, you just play with a scene and then eventually you start to play with the light, and then the luminous just like, I mean, doing what it should do, like, I mean, it's just like making everything look like super dramatic. And then the fog is just like, I mean, in place, like, I mean, even though, I mean, you don't feel the fog, and the light comes from a different direction. This is just like a total photorealistic way of just like simulating that, like that they just do a crazy like good job like with doing something like this, like they just okay, so let me just we might want to have some different like versions of this specific mesh, like maybe this one here, because I think, like, I mean, the first one I have was like kind of small, we might want to get some like this, which will add some variety, like, I mean, because, like, we know the mesh just repeats itself. So, like, I mean, it's okay to do it. It's not okay to let it like visible, like, I mean, you may want to, I don't know, like, add something like this, and then, like, eventually, I mean, this mesh, I think we already imported that, like, I set it somewhere here, and then rotate, and then, like okay, something like this, and then I think it looks okay, right? And then let me just, I mean, we have to get something like a vegetation or I don't know what, but like, I mean, that's real important to maybe we should also import this one here, because it's kind of cool to have some variety to the top, I mean, they all, yeah, as soon as you, as long as you use the collections, like everything's pretty much gonna match and stuff, I mean, most of the materials they scan, like they go to a specific point in the world and then like scan everything, which will kind of, I mean, natural anyway, like they're just in the same natural specific location, and then they match like naturally to each other. So that's, yeah, that's something. So, all right. So like, I mean, that was our. So this was like a human scale, right? Like, let's just try to. I mean, this was the first thing I'm gonna check, like, but I mean, this is not the, of course, not the actual human being we want in the scene. Like eventually, like eventually we're going to get something like they call it meta-human. Maybe you guys heard it. I don't know if you're interested into Unreal Engine development or something. Okay, let's do another thing and then wait for another 2 minutes. So, okay. Like I said, like if I had some subscribers and stuff, like some people watching me, like in the future, like if you just come across my channel, you're always super welcome to like ask like specific questions and make this more of a more interactive thing. Like I'm totally open to it. And then, I mean, instead of like just spending time here, like I don't know, like a couple of hours just to get something which I'm not sure what it is, like I'm just doing things like randomly. I have no idea what I'm trying to get. So like it's still okay for me. If you guys have like some questions and like some wishes and stuff, like you're always welcome to just go down to the comments and like ask anything to me. Okay, something like this maybe. But this is not what I'm talking about. Like I'm looking for some rocks and like stuff. Like I mean, maybe you may want to go to the collection again, and that's real important to get some rocks. Not actual. Okay, something like make sound like this. I have no idea. I'll try to look inside the scene. I don't know if it's even like an. Oh, that's an embankment. Okay, so that's not rocks. So we're looking for rocks though, right? Yes, still download this, and then I already have some like downloaded rocks inside my theme, so maybe I'll just go back to the Megaskins folder, and then go to the 3D assets, and then here we're gonna turn on the static matches, so it's gonna filter the static matches, and then like we're gonna try to find some like something like maybe this. I have no idea if it's gonna work or not. Like you just get some like this into your scene, which I mean, at first it looks like out of place, right? I mean, I'm not trying to say it's gonna look any better in the future, but like I'm just going to try. Like I mean, this is I think the textures just didn't bake or something. What's wrong with it? Maybe the light is too low, like I mean, light which will work in another scene, like this from another scene, and then a light which will work there probably. I mean, it's possible that it won't work here. Just thinking about something like this, but obviously it just didn't work. Nah, nah, it's not cool. Okay, so but this is cool, right? I mean, this just works. Just right out of the box. So we just have to add it, something like this. Just right out of the box, that just looks perfect. Like, and then copy it again, just rotate it, like maybe from a different direction. Oh, hey, sorry. I think it's the mountain there, right? Well, whatever. I mean, no, it's not. Oh, that's it. But anyway, I mean, whatever works, just works. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe the scale is just like wrong. Like I don't want to. Okay, so this is another one. What's this one here? Okay, this is cool. Hey, this is cool. Hey, this is what I was looking for. Like, this is exactly what I was looking for. So you see, I mean, you just start with something like this, like copy it and then rotate it. No, not this way. I mean, like, okay, so rotate it. This is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, the mesh will just like overlap with itself. I mean, with the copy itself. And then eventually it will look like supernatural. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's super cool, like eventually you can like copy it like, I don't know, like more than, I don't know, like multiple times, like every time with a different scale. And then they will look like supernatural, super real. I mean, it's crazy. This is real crazy. So I love it. Another reason I'm doing this YouTube like live, I don't know, stream thing is probably. I mean, I'm not that sure about it, maybe subliminally, like I mean, there's no one I can talk this things with, like I mean, my girlfriend is like super bored every single time I start to talk about like stuff like this, like eventually I'll just end up like talking to myself. So or dreaming about stuff like this. So that's why I think it's like super cool, like if I had some subscribers, like I don't care about the number, like if I only had like, I don't know, like 5 people, like who are real interested, like that's like a dream to me. So, yeah, we'll see. It works if it works. So like it's not a huge deal. So if it doesn't, I still have this diary, like yeah, not bad. I mean, not like super cool, but also not bad. Okay, so that's some more like rock here. And then eventually, like every single time you wanna, I mean, this is what I want. On like every single person, but like I'm thinking about like I wasn't going for like a total nature scene, like I mean I'm actually thinking more of a, like a I don't know like a historical scene, not actual historical, but more like sci-fi historical, something like this. Have like some kind of a I don't know something like this maybe some sort of a gate. I have no idea what I'm doing, but like I'm still. I mean, this. Okay, this looks fine, right? I think so. Yeah. Okay, maybe have some like this. Like this is like a nature scene, and then eventually you're gonna have this like I don't know. But of course, for a scene like this, the lighting has to be more dramatic. Something like I don't know, like something like this or this, or maybe. I think it's gonna be best if it comes from that direction. I like something like this, which will light up our scene. But I mean, like the fog is not as much as I was wishing. Okay, let's just go for some like okay, there's way too much. I think this kind of breaks the. What is that? I mean, like, let's try. Just playing with the. Yeah, we can go for some like this and then just like lower the light. Yeah, that's also another possibility. Like also maybe the skylight is way too high. I mean, maybe even zero, like, I mean, it'll just the whole scene, yeah, that's just doesn't work, but like maybe point 0.2, point 0.5, just point 0.5, well, we don't know. Maybe I mean, I'm thinking if maybe the depth is just like not enough. I'm not talking about so instead of staying there, we can just go stay here, like, I mean, just a little bit more far away. So the fog will just like be more obvious, sort of like, I don't know, to cover this stuff here, like a couple more times. Yeah, I don't like something about the scene. I don't know what. But yeah, you see, this is a problem. I mean, like, I don't want the fog to light up my scene. Yeah, maybe it's not bad. I don't know. And these are the meta humans I have. I mean, I think I only have one right now. But I can also show you guys like how to create meta human and stuff. So I also could put it into, yeah. So come on. This is supposed to be my girlfriend. They shoot fireworks, and it's also crazy. Time at night. Know what they're trying to do. Like it's been going on since like I don't know, like couple months. Maybe it's kind of a demonstration or something. So they just keep. Uh, yeah, I think I'm slowly getting tired. So I might want to go now. Not right now, but it's almost there. No, 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 no. Maybe instead of this thing here, I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna be better, but like it might also work, right? I mean, why not try?